Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you for joining me on another Shabbat teaching. It is a pleasure to be with you on today. Now, you know I have to do my check-in. I want to make sure that everybody could hear me, that we are on live. So please, if you could hear me, let me know that you can see me and hear me. That will be wonderful. I hope you're having an absolutely fabulous day. This is an absolutely great Shabbat. The weather is beautiful here in Dallas. I'm not sure where you are. It would be nice if you'll tell me on the comment where you're listening from, what state, what country, what area you're listening from. So I would love to know that. And don't forget to go on PFYI.org and connect with us one way or the other. Connect with us. We have a lot of teaching on the Patreon. To join the Patreon, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So you could hear me. Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Shabbat Shalom. To connect with us on Patreon and all the teaching that's on there that you could listen to. You become part of the Patreon 24 hours. I always tell people you could listen while you're taking a bath and soaking in your bathtub, soaking your Epsom salt, and you could have teaching right there listening to encourage you. And you always need some encouragement. I do. I need some encouragement as I walk through life. So today, Shabbat Portia. We're going to teach. We're going to talk about your life today. The Portia is Beha Bekhukotai, right? Which means, Beha means 7 year, which is a year mean complete. I know in Christianity we said it means perfect, but it actually means complete. And Behukotai means status, laws. Now I know among community believers as Christian, we said we don't live by the law anymore, and we live by grace. But you really have to study and understand, what does that mean when you say I don't live by the law anymore? Yeshua didn't come to abolish the law. Now we took the second part. He said he came to complete it. So we're like, oh, if he completed, why do I need to complete it? That's not what that means. That's a different teaching by itself. But the law that he fulfilled, that he walked out, was the law of sin, right? Because there's still sin in this world. What sin is that? The sin, another teaching. So we do live by the law. Law means teaching and instruction. And if you say, I don't live by the law anymore, it's a misinterpretation of the scriptures, because there's law of life. You need the law. You cannot live life without laws. Let's look in the natural. You can't drive without laws. You can't even purchase a home. As a mortgage broker, I know that there's laws in purchasing a home that we have to follow. There's different rules and regulation we must follow. You can't even build a home without following the laws. There's everything in life. You have to follow the law. You could even break the law walking the street, jaywalking. You broke the law because you're not walking in where the stoplights are. So everything in life, there is laws. God did not create us and put us on the earth and say, live, without giving us instruction. This particular portion talk about when Moshe was on the mountain, Mount Sinai, and what did he do? God gave him laws and said, this is how the people ought to live. Now, understand that, let me go there first, that I really want to kind of show you from the book of Leviticus, right? And when he started, Leviticus 25th chapter, when he said, Adonai spoke to Moshe at Mount Sinai, and he said, tell the people of Israel, when you enter the land, I'm giving you the land itself. And the first thing he said, observe a Shabbat rest for Adonai. It is to produce for us, but it's for him. So see, when you're studying the word, the first thing you got to do is write question, because you are a student. You are a student of life. That is what we said Talmudim, but your Bible said disciple. That is the Greek term. But the word that Yeshua used, God used, is Talmudim, which is a student. You are a student. A student asks questions, right? So the first question would be, so what do you mean to observe a Shabbat rest. What is a Shabbat? What is a Shabbat rest? So you could go down the line and find the answer. You just can't assume this is what the answer means, and you really can't go by what other people say. You have to know for yourself, right? So that's the first thing he said, observe the Shabbat. 6 years, you ought to sow your field. And if you could go down the scripture, he said you ought to count the 7 Shabbat of the year. If you sell anything to your neighbor or buy anything from him, neither you exploit. He's given, all the way down. Rather, you ought to keep my regulation and rulings and act accordingly. Very important. Write that down. If you do, you will live securely in this land. Now, if you do not live according to the instruction I've given you, then all this stuff start happening. And you wondering why? It's because you didn't follow the instruction. So he go down the line about all the what to do in the land and all of that laws and instruction. He said, Moshe, tell the people this is what they need to follow. Okay, let's bring that today. If you go to the doctors and you have a disease or sickness, he would say, this is the list of prescription and this is the list you ought to follow, whether to get better or for you not to die. And then you go down the instruction and you follow the instruction. If you don't follow it, the doctor you're going to say, well, doctor, it don't work. Why? Did you follow the instruction? Well, no. Everything have instruction. Everything have a law. That's what law is teaching and instruction. There's instruction for everything. When you're trying to break it or you're trying to modify it, it doesn't go according to God's law. It doesn't go according to the instruction that the one who created you, humanity, is the one that know how humanity will work. Right? That's the only one who would know how does this humanity work. Now, if you go back in the book of Genesis, then you could write this down. If you go back in the book of Genesis, I'm looking for there you go. In the book of Genesis, 2nd chapter. This is where it all started, right? Started with 50 verse. Adonai gave this person this order. That was laws. That was instruction. He gave this person this order, which is Adam and Eve. You may freely eat from every tree in garden except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You are not to eat from it, right? So this is where the first instruction, the first law was given. So it looks like that every time God will put you someplace, he will give you instruction. He will give you a law how to live according to that. There is a law, and when you get married, there's a law teaching instruction you ought to do. When you don't do them and you still act single, guess what happened? You become single, right? There's laws in when you are single, you ought to follow. There's laws when you become a mother or a father, you ought to follow. When you break them and you don't take care of the child, what happened? The child get taken away from you. There are laws for grandparents. There are laws for aunties, right? But we all mixed it together. Like, grandmother acting like the mother of the child, grandfather acting like the father of the child, auntie acting like the mother. It's all twirl up into one. Why? And I want you to write that down. Why? Well, because of this happened, I needed to change my position. Because of this that happened in life, I needed to do this. So you would say, let's say the married person, you cheated because my husband or my wife did not do this. So you came out of the law of your marriage because of something else or somebody else or because of life. So you have parents who act like they're not parents because of life. This happened. This person is sick. They're not taking their medicine. They're not doing what they're supposed to do because this and you. We all have a reason why we're not following the instruction of life, the laws of life. You decided you want to go in the balcony on the top of your building and you're going to take off and fly. You just broke the law of gravity because no, I believe I can fly. Because I believe I can fly, you break the law of gravity. You break the law of light. And what happened? Pow, you dead. Right? So I'm explaining this and I'm bringing it home for you to fully understand that you cannot live this life without teaching and instructions. Everybody finding themselves misinterpret, social media talking about the church and talking about teaching in church and pastors and I don't want to go to church no more because of this, because I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. I don't want to be under nobody. I don't want to. And it's everybody's trying to call themselves, setting themselves free because they want to be on their own. But according to the word of God, he said the laws of God. That's right. According to the word of God, you're not called to do life alone. You're not called to do life without any guidance, any teaching, any instruction, any wisdom. Not the one you pick out. I'll do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this, but I won't do that. Everything you've been taught, I want you to write it down. Everything you've been taught, have you been following those instructions? Go ahead, write that down. Yes. No. Very simple. And then now the next thing is, what are those instructions of life that I have not followed? Because the first thing we love to do is pray and blame God. Why God letting that happen? Why God is letting this happen to the children? What God is letting this happen to the people? But I've given you instruction. I've given you the teaching. I've given you the access in how to do life. You choose to do it your way. You choose to not do it. You choose to modify what I've given you. And that's why he told you, if you do what I said, you will live a secure life. The life that you have is not secure because you did not follow my instruction. Very simple. Very simple. But I want you to note to this. Genesis, I think the 3rd chapter, 9th verse. What happened? Adonai God, when Adam and Eve, he gave the instruction, gave the order. They did not follow it. Right? So what happens next? Adonai called to the man. Where are you? Right? He disobeyed the instruction. You moved out of the GPS that God gave you. He answered, I heard your voice walking in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. He said, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I have ordered you not to eat? But because of, the man said, he replied, the woman you gave me. I want you to see this. The word, this man, Adam, means humanity. God called out to humanity. Where are you? And then humanity said, well, the reason I didn't do what you said was because of the woman. The woman Hava, meaning life. Life happens. I want you to sit on that for a second. How many times have you said, well, life just happened? That's the reason I didn't follow the instruction. Because something else happened. So like God did not know life was going to happen when he gave you the instruction. When he gave you all of that stuff, oh, really? Life happened. I could understand why you didn't follow my instruction, because life took place. I understand. I didn't even see that coming. Oh, baby, I understand. Because I didn't even know that was going to come into your life. Just think about, I want you to sit. See, I tell people, I'm not a motivator. If you come here to motivate, you might as well go ahead and sign out, because I'm not that. Cultivator. Take piece by piece and handle you the truth, which most of us can't handle the truth that we request. Because people tell me all the time, hey man, tell me the truth. I want to know the truth. But you can't even handle the truth. You don't have to say it like that. You didn't have to tell it to me like that. You didn't have to tell me that this is the wrong time. You can't handle the truth. Now, is it not the same pattern? Humanity. He called humanity, where are you? Humanity answered, I heard your voice. I was naked. I'm not even going to go to all of that, because all of that is like a 2-hour teaching. Each word means 2 hours. I heard your voice, 2 hours. I was naked, 2 hours. I hid myself 2 hours. So we're going to skip that. He said, who told you that? Life. The life you gave me caused me to do it. How many times that we change wherever you are, that whatever you have to, the instruction. Well, this happened, I couldn't help it. My husband cheated, so I couldn't help it. My children left, so I couldn't help it. That was life. What this happened, that was life. Can we sit in the instruction God have given us while life is happening and not change it? I want you to write these notes down and answer these questions. Can you sit on the instruction of life and not change it, even though life happens? Because what we're doing, we're telling God he didn't know life was going to happen. God already knew that Eve was going to do what she was going to do. It was not a surprise. We have to be reminded who God is, the CEO of the universe, the one who created you, the one who blew life and you became a living soul. That's the one we're talking about. So do you actually think that he had these instructions and not knowing that what was coming? He knew Eve was going to do that. But what was going to be humanity's reaction? So sometimes when I talk to people, they would say, well, you said this and you said that, you said that. Okay, your reaction is what matters, not what I'm saying. It's your reaction that matters. Are you still going to fall off the track? Or are you going to not follow the instruction because of what I said, the way I said it, when I said it? What will separate you from the love of God? What will separate you? Because if you love me, you will follow my commandment. So what will separate you from the love of God? Did you understand that? If you love me, you will follow my commandment. What will separate you? What will cause you to separate from my commandment? What somebody said, how they said it, when they said it, if they said it. Didn't even pay me no mind. Didn't even tell me happy birthday. Didn't even call me happy anniversary. Didn't even talk to me. They didn't check on me. They said this. You see the list. And we end up harboring stuff in our heart. And it enters into the basement of your soul, in the southwest corner of your soul. And it made room and it sat there. See, understand, I should have had my brain. Understand that that's the way the brain operates. And it goes into the part of your brain that creates reactions, that create emotion. So you don't know where this emotion come from. You don't know why am I offended? You have to go backwards into your file in the southwest corner in file number 12 and find out what's hidden in that, because it's releasing an ingredient in your brain. It is releasing an ingredient, but that cause a reaction, that cause you to be offended, that cause you to be mad, that cause you to separate from the commandment, from the love of God. No, it wasn't God. I love God, but I don't love you. I'm going to do what God said do, but I'm not going to do what you said. It's an indication that you don't know God. It's an indication that you have the wrong translation of a relationship with God. I'm going to do what God said do, but I'm not going to do what you said do. We mistranslation of God. Because we create a God in a corner, and the voice, we feel like we're listening to the voice, but it's not even the voice of God. And it causes you to separate from life. It separate from the life that he's giving you. Because you said the life that you gave me caused me to separate from your love. Every instruction that God have given us, if he said, go this way, connect over here, connect over there, I need you to go that way. God already made the provision for you to be there, to go there, to do that. Anything in life that happens have to be set aside because I can't separate from what he said. But we keep separating ourselves and then say, well, life happened. I had to work. Whatever it is, and I lost money, or whatever the life reason This is why I separate myself from where you connected me to. So he said, go to the land of honey and milk and honey. I separate myself from that land and put myself on a different route because of life, because of something happened like he didn't know was going to happen. It was no surprise that your child got pregnant. He knew that. It was no surprise that your wife or your husband walked away and he knew that. So every time we have a reaction based on what happens in life, Adam had a reaction when life came, Eve, and said, eat. So he tell God, because of life, Eve, I did that. And put it in your life today. How many things, how many places, how many things that God have connected you to the answer, you separate yourself because, well, my schedule changed. Well, life happened. Well, so-and-so died. Well, so-and-so got sick. Well, I couldn't help it because I had to do this. I couldn't help it because I had to change the baby diaper. I couldn't help it. I'm just thinking of everything because the cat ate the fish. I couldn't help it. It's always a reason. I couldn't go downstairs because the elevator broke, even though there's steps. Well, that's too far down for me to take. So all I know is there's no elevator. I know God told me to go downstairs, but there's no elevator, so I'm not going. So if you call me and ask me, what you doing? I said, the elevator broke. I can't go down. Even though God told you, yeah, the elevator broke. He didn't know that. He didn't know that when he told you to go down the elevator. But our humanity feels comfortable saying, well, I know what he meant. Maybe he wasn't gone because the elevator broke. So maybe I didn't hear him properly. You see that? Because it's not going our way. We can't stick to his way. What will separate you from the love of God? What does that mean? Put the scripture next to it. If you love me, you'll follow my commandment. What is the commandment of life that you're not following? Now, all of that, when we say, this is the Torah, this is the law, we're not living by the law anymore, we don't do the law, no. Oh, great question. Hebrew 8:10 says, for this is the covenant which I have made with the house of Israel after those days, says Adonai. House of Israel, aren't you? You're not a foreigner. You've been adopted. So you are part of the tree of Israel. So I'm just going to break that down before he's doing. He's not talking to me. He's talking to Israel. And he said, I will put my Torah in their minds. Oh, somebody, I should have had my brain. He said, I will put my laws and teaching in their minds. And I will write it in their hearts. And I will be their God. And they will be my people. So we on the outside trying to do things based on life instead of going within, because he told me that the teaching and the instruction are written in my mind. Because there is another scripture that tell you, with my mind I serve God. Where is your mind? Are we paying attention to our mind? Because the answer, the teaching, the instruction is in your mind. He said it. He said, I will put the Torah, the laws, the teaching, the instruction of life in your mind. And I will write it in their heart. So what does that mean? Okay, I can't live out the natural law doing things in the natural. It means that the Torah principle have to be entwined in your character making. Hebrews 8:10. It have to be entwined in your guide, in your actions on earth. It is in my mind. So those principles, I am to live it. I am to be guided by those principles. I am to be guided in my action. Right? The very thought of that teaching supposed to shape my thought pattern. It's supposed to shape all of my feelings and my behavior. The teaching and the instruction that is put in my mind. supposed to shape my character. It's supposed to shape my thought pattern. So you don't live it to my tell me what to do. I do one. Tell me what to do. No, baby, it's called relationship. In the relationship, the Torah that is put in your mind will be activated to form and shape your thought pattern. It will form and shape your behavior. The behavior will change when you activate the Torah that's in your mind. How do I do that? You get you a teacher. You get you a mentor, coach, whatever you want to name. All of it is the same thing. Teacher, mentor, coach, all the same thing. Get you one. Will teach you and how to tap into your mind for you to activate the teaching and the instruction so your thought pattern could change. So your behavior could change. That's why when some people tell me, I'm feeling some type of way. What is some type of way? You're not supposed to be saying that. You don't know. You know, all this stuff about I can't help who I love. I'm feeling so. It deplete you from the power that God has given you, because you can't help it. You sin and you say I can't help it. I'll cuss you out. I can't help it. I could sit there and fall in love and marry a cat. I can't help it. I could have sex with a tree. I can't help it. And the people are doing it. Yes, there's people go out there marrying trees, child. Yes, they are. I can't help it. I can't help who I love. I can't help who I fall in love. I can't help who I follow. I can't help who I listen to. I can't help my feeling. I don't even know. I feel some type of way. I don't know how I feel. What kind of life is that? Who's in control? It's because you have not tapped into the teaching and instruction, because God is too much of a awesome creator. I just want to take off and run every time I think. He is an awesome creator. That he will put me on this earth and not tell me how to live. And not tell me how to tap into what he had put inside of me. We're so busy looking at other people. That's why I have this teaching, Mind Your Business. By the way, I am teaching that on May 30th. If you would love to be part, you go on my KhannahJosué.com and register for that class, How to Mind Your Business. You will be surprised. So we're minding other people's business. We're minding how the other people do things, and we're not minding ourselves. You got business in here too. Mind your business. What is the instruction for your life? You keep changing every time somebody said, do it this way. Don't do it this way. And then, I've gotten a point in my life, and people can tell me, well, I just think, I'm like, okay, that's good for you. But the instruction for me to live, you may have been traumatized by that same thing that's feeding me. Oh my God, I just gave you $1 million idea right now. You keep making decisions by other people's trauma. Well, I've been traumatized, so I can't swim because I almost drowned. Oh, child, I'm not going to swim because my friend over there almost drowned, so I'm not going to touch that water. That was them. That's not you. You may call to be a swimmer, a professional Olympic a swimmer, but that's where your money is. But you made decisions based on somebody else's trauma. Or somebody's relationship. You heard somebody talk about a pastor, talk about a mentor. Oh, they did that to me. They did this to me. I'm not, child, I'm not going to connect with them because they did that to you. What? No. What traumatized you is my blessing. So sorry. I've never been that type of person like you. Based on what people say, I'll be like, that's your. I don't know. I know they are a blessing to me, and maybe that wasn't your blessing, or it could be you not telling me the whole story, or it could be your reaction towards the truth that they told you. So now you're going to go talk about them, and I'm going to make a decision and disconnect myself from my source based on your reaction, based on your false interpretation, based on your trauma. Oh, that devil is a lie. That's why you have to tap in what's inside of you. You have to tap into the principles that he put in your mind. Well, how do I do that? Great question. Get you a teacher. Get you a mentor. That's the way God created life. That's what he gave the children of Israel. Instead of going to them, he went to Moshe and said, tell them and teach them how to live. Teach them the instruction. That's what he said in the book of Exodus. And that is part of my call. Teach them the instruction and teach them how to live. But you sitting there listening to people, child, you don't need nobody. All you need is God. Okay. Okay. So much I could say that I had to stop myself because there's so much I could say in that sentence. Don't go by what everybody else say. Go by your own experience. And then your own experience have to be put in the filter to find out, was it your fault? Oh, I know this is not popular because everything it's not your fault. You're not the reason. It's never your fault. That is the theme of this generation. I like, it is her fault. If she did, what? It's never your fault. And like, so you're not going to learn a lesson so this won't happen. Everything is never your fault. It's always somebody else. Take your power back. When you said it's my fault, I did that, you taking your power back. When you keep putting the responsibility of somebody else and you tell me it's their fault, you giving them more power over your life. Take your power back by saying, you know what? I see what I've done wrong. I see I could have done that better. Next time I'm going to learn and not do that again. I'm not going to blame you because I'm in charge of my life. You're not in charge of my life. Oh, it's never. Oh, there's a TV show that I watch all the time. And every victim, it's never your fault. It's not your fault. And I'm sitting over there saying, yes, it is. If she didn't go over there and do this and that, yes, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Come back. Oh, my God. What? Okay, going back to the teaching, it is written in your mind, in the table of your heart. God did not make a mistake when he gave you the instruction of what you need to do in life. Every place where he take me or every person that I'm connected to or connected with, I've always asked, why am I connected with this person? What is the cycle of value are we supposed to create? I don't care if the person is a bad person. There's something I need to learn from them. I don't care who they are, what they are. It could be that I have something inside of myself for them. Because I do not believe nothing happened on this earth by accident. I am not an accident person. I am a divine being living the life of the very breath of Elohim. I am valuable. So every place I go, everything that I do have a meaning. So just because you have a bad experience with this thing or this person does not mean it relates to me. Maybe I am an answer for that person, or maybe the person have an answer inside of them for me. I'm going to give you an example. There's a particular fruit in, I believe it's in Jamaica. Ackee. I don't know if in Jamaican on here. Ackee, I love ackee, especially for breakfast. When I go to Jamaica on vacation, my favorite food, ackee. Now, ackee is healthy, beautiful fruit. But if you pick it and you peel it wrong, it becomes poison. So you have to know how to cook it. You have to know how to peel it, and it becomes poison. So it's how you implement life with people and things. It could become poison, but it's not poison for everybody else. So my child, my cousin died from eating this ackee. Don't eat it. Well, your cousin didn't know how to cook it. Somebody did it wrong, but doesn't mean it's wrong for everybody else. And it's the same thing about even religion. We're so busy in everybody else's religion, how they do things. And people shouldn't say that in the church. People shouldn't say that. People shouldn't teach that. Mind your business. Maybe God didn't call you to that congregation. But the people in that congregation doing their thing, they like it, and leave them alone. But God didn't call me over there. And because he didn't call me over there, I'm not going to sit there try to, especially, I'm going to say this. Especially in America, we think America Christianity is the code of relationship with God. We think we just cracked the code on religion. So we're going all around the world preaching the gospel, thinking that our gospel is it. Like those people don't know God we going around preaching to. They don't know God like we know God, and we're going to go teach them about God. I mean, really, I want you to take a look at that. We think we made it. We think we got it. This is, even right now, this Christianity thing. And now I have to ask, which version of Christianity we're talking about? There's so many different versions. And depends on who it is and who's teaching it. And instead of finding out what life God gave you, what road he gave you. Because everybody is not on the same road. That's why he said you have to learn to respect other people's thought, decision, religion. If you made a decision to be that, that's you. But don't come over here and drag me in it. We don't have this religion. This religion in America don't even include the Jewish community. Because they already said the Jew killed Jesus. So we going around and preaching the gospel thinking that that God, America wasn't even alive when Yeshua was here. America wasn't even created. So, but we think in America, God just gave us all the revelation that he just made himself. If you're an American, I'm going to reveal myself to you. If you're not American, I'm not going to reveal myself to you. I'm going to send an American to teach you who I am. Talk about pride and arrogance in the body. That we think we made it. We got the code. Wouldn't that be something the day you meet God and find out that you were wrong? So, unquote, going back to what I was saying, Hebrew 8, the laws and the teaching, you should be living by them. You should be living by the teaching and the instruction that God have connected you to. Even in Judaism, there's some people that said there are Israelites. I'm not an Israelite. I don't do Israelite. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite person. I don't do that. He didn't call me there. So because he didn't call me there, I can't move myself there because somebody else feel they are called in that area. That's what God called you. That's fine. But he literally connected me, not with the Hebrew community, not with the Israelite community. He connected me with a messianic community. And when he took me to Israel, he literally showed me this is the path that I want you to be on. This is what prayer fast is located. So I can't take whatever God revealed to you over here in the Hebrew community and bring it over here and add over. I can't do that because he didn't call me there. There's so many different branches, even in Judaism. You have to know exactly where God have called you. You can't keep taking a little bit of that and a little bit of this and add a little bit of ingredient. And you know what that called when you do that. That's how, what's that monster was created? Frankenstein. That's how Frankenstein was created. It'd be like, what is that? What is this? The head look like that. What? Because you keep taking all these ingredients. This is why you have to spend time with your teaching and instruction to find out who you are, what God have called you on this earth, and the purpose that you were put in. And you live by that purpose and stop saying, well, God, because of life, I did not obey instruction. I ain't have no gas, so I couldn't go where you send me. Why would he send you there without gas? Why would he say go and he didn't give you no gas money? No, it could be because you spend your gas money someplace else. So when it comes to do what God have told you to do, all of a sudden, I ain't got no gas, God. I ain't got it. I don't know why you telling me. Maybe you didn't tell me to go because I ain't got no gas. But you never thought about maybe he did give it to you, but you spend it someplace else. We take time out and find out why are you telling me to do all this stuff and I don't have the resource to do it. I don't even have the time to do all the stuff that you're telling me to do. I don't even have the mentality. I don't even have the focus. Why? Well, it must be something I'm doing wrong. So let's sit down and talk, God. Let's find out what am I doing? What am I supposed to not to do? What am I supposed to put away? How do I balance my life to do what you have called me to do? Because I don't want to get in front of your face and then you God, look at this life and then what I've lived, and it's two different things. But I gave you this to do on this earth, but you did that instead. Depart from me, for I know you not, because this is the one that I created to on this earth, and you became this. He give you choices now. You still could live that life that you want. And God is not going to come knock it down. He's not going to send a tornado. He's not going to be like, pow, pow, pow. He's going to let you live that life until you finally wake up and say, you know what? Let me find out the map that I'm created with. What did he create me to do on this earth so I could live according to that? And stop saying, well, Lord, I couldn't do it because of that. I couldn't do it because of this. I couldn't go because of traffic. I couldn't be this because it's too late. I couldn't do. Oh, we have a whole dollar list because we keep saying life happens. This is life. This is life. This is life. Like he didn't know. He said, I'm giving you the teaching and instruction in your mind. Now it's time for you to get in a position to find out, tap into your mind. What's in there? You need a teacher to do that. You go in there and start finding Frankenstein, talking about, yeah, this is what's in my mind. You need a teacher and you need a mentor to tell you, no, baby, that's not it. That's Frankenstein. That's not, look on the left side and tap on the left side right here. Don't go over there right there. Go right here. That's what God told you to do. That's what you need. So you can't do life by yourself. Okay? So that's all I have today. I said I'm not going to be long today. And teaching and instruction, Beha Bekhu Kotai, is the portion for this week. And the teaching and the instruction. And he's still giving you teaching and instruction in everything that he do. Everything that he gave you to do, he already gave you teaching. You got to tap into what is the instruction and teaching for this. What is the instruction and teaching for this season? What is the instruction and teaching for that? And don't allow nothing to separate you from the love of God. Because if you love me, you will follow my commandments. You will follow my order. There is a lack of love in your heart towards me because you keep letting life separate you from my commandment, from your love for me. All right? So don't forget to go PFYI.org. I want you to sign up for the class. The ITC class is coming. It's coming, I believe, in September. So go and you could sign up now for those classes. So go to PFYI.org and start searching and looking in the website to see all the teaching and instruction. And you could also now purchase the prayers that we have. Sweep your house, sweep your soul. I do the sweep your brain on the other side. So you could purchase those teaching, the healing CD. You played, I have many testimony people that play the healing CD that really, angels of the Lord really was released in the room as you play, especially if you have any loved one in the hospital, ICU. These are great prayer for you to play constantly for them. Sweep your house plays in my house every single night. Before I go to bed, actually kind of pray all day. In the morning, I just lower the volume a little bit. And at nighttime, I put the volume up. Sweeping my house from maintenance man, from people that may come by, from stuff that released on in the atmosphere that I can't see, stuff that may be attached anywhere. My house is constantly being swept day and night. So I will recommend sweep your house. I'm telling you, sweep your soul. I recommend it for you to put it in your prayer room with you to constantly pray, especially if you have a loved one that's may be in transitioning. I'm very careful how I say that because that CD, that prayer had been used to a lot of people that I know that have been transitioning, and the Lord really created that prayer to make sure that last minute tweaking that needed to take place in their soul before they leave out of here, and to make sure they make it on the right path. So sweep your soul is a great prayer for you to get for that, and the healing CD for your family and the children. You know, the children need a CD. I've heard people where they play the children prayer real low in their room while they sleep. Sometimes they put it under the bed because your children today going out there in the world, in the school, you want them protected. There are some teachers that's even using it in their class, and they play it real low for the children to play. So God gave us instruction. He put people like myself to create these things. They know why I was creating these prayers. Later on, when I'm hearing testimonies of what things I've done. I've even heard testimony about sweep your house. I think from somebody from Nigeria, a few people, and they said they heard stuff screaming out of their walls. That thing goes deep. It is penetrated with the power and the presence of God that will penetrate every witchcraft spirit, every depth. I mean, it penetrates. And so I've heard some really awesome testimony about sweep your house. I mean, the person said they heard stuff crawling on their walls. They were like, get me out of here. So you have to do that, and go to KhannahJosué.com and register for the class that I'm doing on mind your business. And there's other classes in May, June, July that I'm doing about the different levels of life, sweep your brain. So you could sign up for these classes, okay? So thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to sow your seed, PFYI.org, and sow the seed that God had put in your heart, because if you are the vessel that God is using to say, you know, I need to send $1 million, $1,000, $100,000, whatever that seed, to Prayer Fast Yeshiva International, because this is a school, it is not a church, we're not looking for members, but this is a school where you come and get your teaching. They're just like any other school, like Howard University. That is the level where we are. The yeshiva, we're not kindergarten. This is for people that's adult, that's mature, teachers of teachers. That you are a teacher, this is a perfect place for you to get your teaching, to get your refreshing of teaching. So that's what Prayer Fast Yeshiva International is. It is a university. That's what yeshiva mean in Hebrew. It is a university, just as it is with Howard University. So sow your seed, and so we can continue to grow, and we can continue to have those type of teaching for you, that anytime that you need, you click on Prayer Fast and go get what you need to get refreshed, to get renewed, and to get taught. And because you're teaching and you pour, and you need somebody to pour back into you. And this is one of the places. So God may be looking for a vessel such as yourself to say, I need to send $1 million and I need to use your vessel. So if he's sending $1 million, that's mean he have to give you $2 million. So $1 million for you and $1 million for Prayer Fast Yeshiva International. So, and that we have some people who do not attend any churches that looking for places to sow their seed and pay tithe. This is one of the places that you can, because this is good ground. And we have an awesome testimony of people that have paid their tithe and sow seed in this ground, because it is created by God himself, not by me, created by him. And his presence is here, and the grounds are always pregnant at Prayer Fast Yeshiva International with balanced meals and balanced teaching, okay? So, and if you have an intercessory department or you want to create one, reach out to us, because we can create an intercessory department. And leaders, you need them. You need the intercessors, and teach them how to pray for you. Teach them how to cover you, how to guard your gates, because you know this arena where we are, they are after preachers, they are after teaching, they are after churches. So we need intercessors to be trained properly, because there is so many false interpretation out here. It is incredible. I'm like looking like, oh my God, how did you get that? That's not even true. So send your intercessors to be trained, or allow us to create a department for you that we can train and teach your intercessors how to cover you and your ministry, and how to go in the birthing room to birth out your vision. Okay, so reach out to us, PFYI at prayerfastyeshivainternational.org, or you could go on PFYI.org, the website, and chat on there and say, yes, I need to create an intercessory department, or I need to upgrade my intercessory department, or I need to train them to the next level. This is what we do, and this is why God created Prayer Fast, to be an answer for you as a leader. Okay, thank you. You all have a great Shabbat. Thank you for joining me in this session today, and I pray all the teaching and everything that's been said penetrate your heart and your mind. And I pray that the divine presence of God will continue to rest upon you. May Adonai bless you and keep you. May he continue to shine his face upon you and your family and give you peace. Shabbat shalom.